Drinking my juice. Here we go. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. Holy crap. So I have two. I have a half a gallon. Okay, guys. I'm gonna get waterfalls. Wow. And this is kale. This shit's no joke. Oh my God. I got to get through it. I still got a lot to go. But I need to step up my game to repair the damage from last week and get back on my game. So, yeah. I know, Kevin. I'll tell you what. And you got to watch my last transmission, Kevin. Like, seriously, you got to watch that last thing because it's a major revelation. I don't know if you want to even attempt to cover it, but it's parthenogenesis. Kevin's like, oh my God. I don't know. I'll see. I don't know. There's probably things I need to cover that I just, I don't know. Okay. Okay. I'm going to do this. Mm. Okay. I'm only going to do, I know, Michelle, I'm only going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not ready to do two of them. Oh, that was enough. Wow. That was enough. I had a little bit of food too earlier, so I'm kind of full anyways. Yeah. This is kale, and kale is like, it's a lot. And on a full, somewhat of a full stomach, it's a lot. Yeah, green smoothie. I wish it was sweet. Maybe I could do that. I don't know. But that, I don't know. I might, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I might save it for later or tomorrow. All right. So, yeah, I drank my juice. And so my whole goal is to see what I'm meant to be, whatever it is. And so this is when you guys start blowing your nose because any toxins in your body, it comes to surface. I mean, here's the thing: when you drink in the juice, you will be bringing to surface anything that doesn't belong, and mucus is a way to expel it. So when a dog is coughing or a person is coughing and you drink the juice, no, I probably won't get waterfalls right away, Kevin. Now here's the thing. Hold on. When your dog is coughing or a person is coughing, they drink the juice and they stop coughing, it's because the body was able to expel out whatever it was. It neutralized it and then expelled it. It wasn't like you did anything to kill the mechanism. And that's what antibiotics do when they stop somebody from coughing. They just kill the body's processes to try to get it out. Okay, so you have to understand context yet again. And do I get waterfalls after drinking juice on a full stomach? No, not necessarily. Now, if I were to push it, this is where you can do it. If I pushed it, and since I'm on a kind of a full stomach a little bit, and I force myself, when I force myself, yeah, I could get waterfalls. But then I would be so top heavy, and I would feel so uncomfortable that I'd have to sit on the toilet for a while to do that. Nancy Ann Kumluck says, is more nutrition in kale? Go Google. Here's the thing. Go Google the different nutrient contents in cabbage and kale. And then you tell me, there's nothing that's more than the other. It's about different types of nutrients in cabbage and kale. One has different types and one has other different types. So, so you get the best of all the worlds if you do both cabbage and kale. Lately, I have a lot of kale. I made it, but I also have cabbage in there too that I haven't started drinking yet. But you really should do both. Some people start off with kale. Some people start off with cabbage. You can do a mixture of the two if you don't like the taste. Okay, but you really should do both because you get different nutrients from both. Okay, then you can Google and it has all the minerals and all the different nutrients that your body needs that they've told you for years and years and years. Okay, so, you can't go wrong taking in nutrition, guys. You really can't go wrong. Okay, when you take in nutrition, you're going to fulfill every single nutrient need your body absolutely needs to live on. You will fulfill everything. And then, then you eat fruit. There's fruit on the diet. I have bananas in there. I ate I had like some dry cereal earlier and I had a little bit of ravioli. I couldn't eat all the ravioli, and I had like a little bit of dry cereal as a snack. And that has a little bit of sugar. So there's carbs have a little bit of sugar. So there's a sugar, the ATP, the glucose that gives you energy. And then here's the balancing force. The salts and the nutrients and the lactobacillus. Okay, so that's why there's so many things that have sugar in it or turned into sugar, because the body needs sugar, but it needs to have a balancing with the juice. And so that's why the diet is the way the diet is, because it has fruit, it has potatoes, it has vegetables, it has nuts, it has oils, it has the juice, and that will fulfill everything. And you don't even need the nuts. And you don't need as much protein as you think. Yeah, there's chicken for those that are carnivores, but this is something that you guys may not have heard in a while, since I haven't said it in a while, is that you don't need as much protein as you think. The reason why we have so many people eating protein is because they're destroying their body, they're working out, and so they're on these high protein diets. When you look at these football players before a game and they're trying to beef up before a wrestling match or even lose weight, but when you're trying to beef up because you are constantly burning so many calories and you're also self-cannibalizing when you're working out, you got to eat all this protein, all this stuff to kind of give your body back what it's missing because of you destroying it. That's when I was moving, I ate 3 McDonald's hamburgers. Okay? And I'm like, what the hell? And it tasted so freaking good. But that was protein. It was probably not the best protein, but it was protein. And I then had to go and expel it. But it was like my body was being repaired from working out, hopping around, moving boxes and taking them into the truck and moving and but it was like fight or flight. But if you're not working out and you're not playing that game, then you don't need to be eating all that protein, because protein does tax the body. We have too much protein, too many amino acids. It does tax the body. Okay? There is protein in cabbage and kale, and your body will absorb what it needs and it will release the rest. You don't need a protein load on this protocol. Chicken's on the protocol because we have a lot of carnivores that cannot transition just doing the J juice and just eating raw vegetables and raw fruits. No, you'll be cooking your foods if you want. You just don't cook your fruit and just don't cook the nuts. And you can eat as many potatoes. People have eaten potatoes. Right, Christine. People have just eaten potatoes and the juice. You can live on just potatoes and the juice. That can happen. Yes. So your diet could be so, I mean, your food bill could be so inexpensive when you realize what you can actually survive on. And yeah, it's not going to be fun if you're coming from a very diverse diet in the holistic allopathic industry, when you're all focused on the spices and all of that. And now you're like, now I'm telling you, stop with the spices, stop with the legumes, stop with the lemons and limes, stop with all the spicy hot types of stuff and all the different sauces, and just do, if you're a carnivore, just do the chicken with some salt and just steam your vegetables, or eat your raw vegetables and just eat whole fruit, not juicing your fruit. And so, and then just drink the J juice. But you do have different potatoes. And Nancy like all three green. Oh, yeah. Let's see, what's that? Nancy Ann's like, I used to do all three green, red cabbage to maximize the nutrients from all. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter which has more, Nancy. Just use both. There's not a competition between cabbage and kale. There is zero competition between cabbage and kale. Do both. There's no sense in pointing out the differences. Just do both. You will get the best of both worlds if you do both cabbage and kale. And you can mix the two so you get all of the nutrients in both vegetables. And then eat whole fruit, and then have a very diverse vegetable supply. And there you go. And then occasionally have a special treat. You can cook your bananas, make banana pancakes. There's eggs on the protocol. I mean, really, this protocol, the diet is so doable. It's unreal. It's not the keto diet. It's not the Atkins diet. It's not the paleo diet or any other diet, the Mediterranean diet, the whatever diet. No, this is a diet that has strategy to it. So it lets you know what foods are actually detrimental during this process. And when you are bringing in a lot of spices and you're already full of heavy metals, because remember, you guys, mutations come from a heavy metal toxicity. That's why everybody's turning to heavy metal detoxes. So when you're always spicing your foods, they are a component. They are actually made up of the heavy metal element chemical compositions, but they have it a different name. They call it garlic. They call it turmeric. They call it different names, different spices. But when you actually break down the spices to its actual chemical composition, it has the same form as a heavy metal. So that's why we are not doing spices or any other antibody-inducing types of sauces like hot sauce, because that would undermine what you're trying to do with the probiotics, with the nutrition, and trying not to destroy your progress with these antibody-inducing types of foods, these plant-based therapy foods. Okay, so the diet is the way it is, and it wasn't like I actually kind of knew this. I just knew that the holistic industry was always using spices and always using those types of things as part of their detoxes, and that's not part of the Daily Juice protocol. We're not the holistic industry, so we're not adopting their ways. We're actually running away from their methodologies for a reason. And then Kevin says that I have noticed rapid weight and muscle gain by eating some rice for the first time in about a year and a half for the last 3 days. In other words, carbs also just sugar tested for being balanced again. Yes. Yeah, so you can bring in carbohydrates and sugar, okay? But right now, a lot of you have, so I guess if you are, it's interesting to say that, Kevin, because you are naturally skinny, or you are inherently very thin. And so I could see where bringing in the carbs after you got rid of your candida, after you reversed a lot of your issue, bringing back the carbs, which I've never said you should ever totally eradicate indefinitely, only in the beginning to get all of your sugars and all of your bodies back in balance again. you will eventually reintroduce foods back in your diet. But if you reintroduce them too soon, it will exacerbate your issue. But once you start feeling comfortable and you understand the balance of your body, you're already seeing the results, you've been through the pain process, and maybe you're naturally skinny, maybe you need to eat more of potatoes or rice or bread, but then drink a lot of J juice to keep the balance. That would make sense. So thank you for that. That's a great, and that's where I want you to come in, obviously, which you will, I'm sure, Kevin. Bring in your perspective as a male who's also very naturally slender. And then how you've built up muscle, because there's many guys out there that want to look muscly. They want to look good because there is still that whole, I don't know, that persona that you have to be strong and looking great. And some men are a bit beefy, like my husband, so he doesn't have to worry about it. But in the beginning, when I first met him, he was a skinny boy. I think it was over the last like 7 years of our life in our marriage to where he kind of packed on. But he looks great stout. Not that it's healthy for him, but he looks good even the way he is today. And so, so if he ever does lose the weight, he's going to be beautiful no matter what. I'll love him just the same. But my husband looks great being a stout pit bull, and to even being skinny when I first met him. So that's a great revelation, Kevin. Thank you so much. So I'm going to drink this. I'm going to see if I can down this. I'm going to leave this alone for right now. I know I didn't finish it, but I don't want my first sip to be like, oh, I can't do it anymore. So I'm going to try to do at least half of this. Smack back to reality. The hack in the mucus. Ugh. If this was cabbage, it might be a little bit easier. Kale is a lot more. So Nancy, chia, this packs a punch. This will kick your ass, and it's good. All of you that haven't done kale, you need to do it. You've got to do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That was easier than the first one. The first one is far more harder because my body had to get used to that sheer amount of volume because I hadn't done this in a while and I was moving and messing up with everything. So, and eating like some stuff off the diet. And so that first one, this one was way freaking harder. It came from the same jar because I poured these are poured from the Major Big jar. And so it's not like it's any different. They're the same stuff. But the first volume, the sheer amount, is difficult. And then I guess, wait a minute. When you drink a whole now some of you who are like 250 pounds, you may have to do a half a gallon in the first hour and then wait a minute and then do the other half a gallon, so you get a gallon in like an hour. And that's great. But if you're like 250 pounds and you're doing like just one a day, no, you need to up your dosage. Okay. And Christina goes, I'm doing a little later after my food digest. I feel hungry yet. Yep, kale. I know, Michelle. It's freaking insane, Michelle Pittman. I tell you what, man, it was harder the first time. This actually was easier. This second time around, it tasted like water. But the first time it tasted super salty. It really did. It was like, and it tasted like shoe polish, like serious freaking shoe polish. But then this tastes like water. So I think what it is your body and your cells and you and your stomach get acclimated. And it's insane. It's insane, the difference. And you just, and then the thing is, even though on a full stomach, I had like a half a thing of raviolis from that Rana, Rana, brand, and it was just like the single packs, and it was like the mushroom raviolis, mushroom, a little bit of cheese, and I put in a little bit of cheese, and I put in some mushrooms, and I think that was it. And I ate like half of that, and I put that in the fridge, and I had a bunch of Crispix that I was just popping in my mouth, and then I drank a little bit of my juice, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to drink like a half a gallon. And so that's so it was like so that's probably what made this taste really, really salty, was the fact that I ate already a bunch of sugar. So when you eat sugar, or you eat a pastry, or you eat a lot of fruit, and then you drink this is going to taste very salty on the heels of sugar. But salt and sugar are very, very necessary. That's what you don't realize. Salt or sugar should never, ever be demonized. It's only demonized when you have an imbalance. You can drink the solids too, Nancy. You can drink both. It may be easier to drink just the juice in the beginning, and then put the solids like on your foods. But it's easier to drink this. But no, you cannot demonize sugar, guys, because sugar is necessary. And that's probably why my dog is named Sugar. It's probably why they adopted. That's probably why Jason and Kevin, Jason's best friend Kevin, they already prophesized the Jilly Juice. They already figured out that Jillian was going to be doing the Jilly Juice. She's going to be talking about sugar and salt, because salt and sugar are both crystals. They both dissolve in water. They both are necessary. But you have too much of any one, like too much salt just by itself obviously is bad for you. But when you have salt with the water and the lactobacillus and the nutrients, and in the cabbage and the kale, and then also with the body, the biochemistry and the biodiversity and everything, salt is necessary. Sugar is necessary too, but in the amounts that are balanced. Too much sugar on an imbalanced body that doesn't have salt as a balancing force will throw the balance off the body, hence cancer, candida, diabetes. Okay? So salt and sugar are very, very necessary. Salt probably is more necessary. It is, even though sugar might be a negative element, it's still like the trace minerals. They're negative elements, but you need them to keep the balance. Okay, because there is no sugar on the elemental composition of the human body, but sugar is necessary for the body's biophotons, the ATP, the energy, the hormones. Okay, so we do need sugar. So don't let anybody demonize sugar to the point to where somebody completely eradicates it out of their diet 100%. Now, I don't have honey. My husband has honey. I don't use honey. I don't use stevia. I don't use aspartame or Sweet and Low or Splenda or any of those substitute sugars. I have regular white sugar and brown sugar, and I have, what do I have? And I have foods that may have sugar in it. There's enough sugar in our foods. Right, Kevin. Yeah. I'm glad we figured this out. No, I think you figured that out and you put it out there, Kevin. You figured out how to we knew that sugar was part of it because we needed sugar, but you really made it very apparent the actual need in our diet. But then we've noticed that too much sugar will then feed the cancer. So we have to kind of like eradicate it. But then there's sugar in the fruit. That's why there's the fruits on the diet. There's sugar when you take in potatoes and you eat starches, it does convert to sugar. So it's not like we actually eradicated sugar. We just are not taking in the honeys and eating in the pastries in the beginning. Now, down the road, when you finally get healed and sealed, at least, 95%, you can reintroduce pastries, you can reintroduce donuts and whatever else, but it'll be on a minimal scale. And then you will always, always, always be aware that you drink the juice right afterwards to offset what you could potentially be feeding. Because if you don't drink the juice and you just do the donuts, or you go back to your old style, your old lifestyle, and you forget the juice, you'll be back into square one again, possibly inducing diabetes. because that's what happens in the matrix when somebody gets diabetes, is because their sugar is out of whack. It causes a hormonal imbalance. So then they're insulin dependent. Okay? So anytime that you have an imbalance in your body, it will cause a hormonal imbalance as well, because the body is trying to compensate for that imbalance. And so it's a domino effect. You have an imbalance here, we'll create an imbalance there, we'll create another imbalance there, and then all of a sudden your body is mutated and it manifests into cancer, disease, and chronic illness, to where you're on prescription drugs trying to balance your hormones out because your hormones are out of whack. That's exactly what cancer, disease, and chronic illness is. So that's why you have to completely understand the protocol, so you understand the balance and what all the different foods are out there, what they represent and what they do to you, so you know how to balance everything out, because everything is compartmentalized, but then it's how you bring them all together and in what form is what is the difference. Hey, Krista. And I'm feeling chilly. So you know it's been a while since I've been doing this, because I hadn't felt like this chilliness in a while as far as doing waterfalls. So this is really cool. And sometimes I have to drink the juice in front of y'all, because it's the incentive. Because yeah, after eating a lot of that sugar stuff and eating off the protocol and working out, moving from one house to another, to my new house, it's like, oh, now I got to go and repair the damage, and it's not freaking fun. And it's freaking cold right now. So, all right, I'm going to just drink the rest of this, and then I'm going to go sit on the toilet for a while. Oh, my God. Okay. But yeah, this energizes all of your cells. It'll bring it back to square freaking one as far as resetting your body. Okay? It really will. So, can you remember how cold it can be? So when you haven't done it in a while and you have lots to repair from just whatever, yeah. So it pays not to go off the diet too much, and if you do, then you just have to do this. It pays not to upset your homeostasis to where you're putting your body under extreme stress or duress, unless you are taking J juice every day to keep repairing, so you don't keep falling behind the 8 ball. This is what this does, is it makes sure that you don't fall behind the 8 ball too much, to where you're way back to where you're then creating mutations. So right now, with all of you that are mutated, you have to do so much of this to then have the pendulum swing the other way, so you're ahead of the 8 ball, and then finally you then get into balance. You will then be able to balance out the negative and the positive elements, and then you understand what every single thing out there represents as far as how it's going to impact your body, and then what you need to do to counter those negative forces so you don't trigger the aging process, which is the death process. Okay. Now it just stinks. Okay. Woo, Shane and Ray. See, some of you are going to have the hardest time. Now that didn't taste good. Yeah, Shannon Ray is right, and I'm going to talk about her real quick. I so remember the frigid cold, shaking cold. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. For this first week, I got blinding headaches. 2, and the feeling of being drunk down the hatch. Yeah, because you are going through, because when you drink alcohol, you're messing with your, but yeah, you are impacting and influencing your hormones, and it causes that feeling of equilibrium off. So when you're changing your biochemistry, it will have the same kind of effect sometimes, not necessarily in the same way, but if you know that you have a lot of mutations and you're drinking the juice, you shouldn't be drinking the juice and then getting in your car and driving any place or going to work. What you should be doing is drinking the juice on a Friday night if you don't have to work until Monday, and then you see how you react to it. And some of you, yes, will get headaches. My husband, he gets headaches when he drinks the juice because that's what needs to be fixed first. He has he's not like, mentally ill or anything, but that's what it fixes. It fixes the mutations in your brain. It rewires your brain. Okay? So whatever pain you feel right off the bat, is what is being prioritized to be fixed first. And a lot of people will have their brain start getting fixed first because that's what is then making the decisions on the rest of your body. The more you drink in one session, the less it starts to taste good. Can we say that all the critters are manipulating our taste and smells through our vagus? Yeah, I would say you could say that. Sure, the critters, the fungus, anything else that's. Oh my God, I might need to take a really warm shower. But I haven't done that in a while. I got to go throw up, but I'm not going to. But yeah, I did do a half a gallon in like 15 minutes. Half a gallon. That's insane. I haven't done that in a while. But I haven't done it in a while because I've been being very regular. It's only since, I started kind of going off the diet and working out and causing stress to my body to where it causes the upset of homeostasis. So when you don't see yourself poopy, like my dog, the last couple days, she started pooping a lot more. The reason is because with all of the changes of moving, her schedule was thrown off. So then she started holding her poop in, and then and then I stopped being let out at the same time, and I hadn't really figured out her schedule. So now within the last couple of days since we've been home, she's finally like pooping like a lot more, so she can get back on her poop schedule. Which me too. I wasn't pooping in the right way because I was in homeostasis interruptions. So when you guys are like going to traveling or you're moving or you're doing whatever and you upset your homeostasis, your poop schedule is going to be off. Everything's going to be off. And then when you finally get relaxed, you got to get yourself back on schedule again and back. And then, and that's when today is the first day I actually had a revelation. After a whole week of being in upset homeostasis, I couldn't think about the protocol. I couldn't think about anything but moving and transitioning. And so finally, I think today is the first day I'm actually relaxed, which then had me think about the protocol and think about the revelation of parthenogenesis. Okay? So that's why it's paramount that you guys set time aside to do your healing, because when you are always on the go, distracted, there is no way you can put good time into healing as well as thinking anything revolutionary, whether it's for your job or for your family or for whatever. You really have to set time for yourself. And this protocol, this healing process of this protocol is like a meditation. Okay? So, oh man. All right. Well, I'm going to go take a bath and get warmed up. But you guys, just keep drinking the juice. And thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for understanding where I'm coming from. And thanks for hanging in there, because I don't know if we'll ever find the answers really, but I think that we are on the right track to what humanity is supposed to be and what the intention is for humanity. Humanity was never meant to die and go through this cycle of people. Humanity was never meant to be disposable. Humanity is not disposable. Kids and humans and adults and older people are not disposable. No one is meant to die. They die because it's a consequence of violating the laws of the immune system and violating the laws of the body. That's all death is. It's a consequence of violating the laws. So let's keep law and order in our community, in our family, and in our body, and we will have life. Not death and chaos, but life and order. And that's what I aspire our world to be, in life and order. And maybe that is the intention of the New World Order. is life and order, not death and chaos and anarchy. All right. Have a good day, guys. Bye.